Let's get loaded on Lansdowne.
It's all right.
Captain's Daughter.
Oh.
Great IPA. Great IPA. All right. Welcome to episode number 88.
88.
Of the Loaded on Lansdowne Boston Red Sox baseball podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jakaris. Alongside me always virtually is Andrew. Andrew, super producer. Andy, how we doing?
We're doing all right.
Good. Yeah, hope everyone's having a great weekend. My sons went back to school this week, so it's been interesting.
Been something, I'm sure.
Yeah, my mother almost had 40 heart attacks taking care of the kids, and we're glad everyone's still with us after this week.
Starting to feel like that, definitely weather-wise, starting to feel like summer's definitely over. So
yep. I rocking the hoodie today.
Yeah.
Out at went to my mom's house, helped her shut down her pool a little bit, and
I shut down my pool today. Yep.
Yeah, and got all the lawn furniture off of the deck for her, and it was a little bit sad because if any summer was like lay your ass by the pool and just it
was all we could really do for the entire beginning of the summer.
Catch a buzz by a body of water. That was like
that was it.
That was from like April to 2 days ago, basically.
That was all that was allowed.
Yep, absolutely. So it's a little bit sad. We'll see where things take us. But in any case, Andy. So look,
I got to be honest. I kind of forgot that baseball season was still going on.
I was just about to say, look, I don't think it's a secret, all right, that you and I have not really been 100% engaged in Boston Red Sox baseball this particular season for like 10 million different reasons.
This might be the least in a long time, too. I got to be honest.
I don't ever remember a season where I was this disengaged.
Like even the Bobby Valentine season, I was watching for the car wreck. You know what I mean?
I was just about to say, even in
the car wreck isn't even fun with the Red Sox right now, because at least the Bobby Valentine, the car wreck was people you knew who they were.
I think didn't you and I go to like the last game of the 2012 season?
I believe we did. Yeah,
not like front row or something. Like
we moved right down. Yeah,
because I was like, let's go, because like there's no one's gonna be there, and I think we sat front row most of the game.
But this year's car wreck is just a bunch of strangers on TV. Like I can't even take enjoyment in them failing because they're just losers who are put into loser situations.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember. To your point, like even in 2012, I wanted to see the ship go down. I was like, all right, let's do this. But this one, it's like
it's even worse now. Yeah, because it's even worse now because like, and this is kind of a weird way to put it, but now that some guys are really starting to hit, you know what I mean? Devers is like 335 in the last month. Hidalgo still hitting well, you know what I mean? So some guys are starting to hit, but so it's just glaring why the team is not winning games. It's so obvious. Nobody can throw the ball.
No. So, which brings us to our next point is that, number one pitching prospect Tanner Houck comes in this week. I believe it was Tuesday was his start against the Marlins. And
Tanner, every time that, I mean, like, do you think he's ever like had to rake leaves or anything in his life? You know what I mean? Has he ever?
It's like, are you seasoning leather? Because that's what your name implies.
You get the feeling. Really? See, I get the feeling like he just like spent most of high school like in some like academy school. You know what I mean? Where just throwing the ball. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look.
Just oozes privilege. You know what I'm saying?
People name their kids shitty names. I mean that. We named our kids normal names.
Yeah.
Right? We will be rewarded someday in the afterlife when we go to the gates or whatever, and St. Peter's like, thou shalt enter because thou didst not name thou kid some stupid fucking name.
I mean, really, honestly, I got a Madison, so could be a stripper name. I do freely admit that. So that's really, like Chris Rock said, we just got to keep her off the pole. And so there's about a window from like late 17 to like 20 we got to worry about.
You got to watch it.
You got to get through there.
Well, I know I'm not her official godfather, but I would like to step in and help if I could.
It's kid. You already got the name. We got to keep you off the pole.
So in any case, Tanner Houck comes in, and I would say that between Bobby Dahlbeck, just watching him play recently, and
he's been refreshing.
And Tanner Houck, one game, but here's my point.
And the second baseman, what's his name?
Christian Arroyo?
What?
Arroyo, the new guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good too. But he's kind of been around. He's been around,
though. You're right. Let's talk about young guys. Yeah.
So, for me, watching Tanner Houck pitch the other day and seeing a young Red Sox pitcher come in and do what he was supposed to do and have so much promise. He pitched 5 innings, 7 strikeouts. He walked 3 guys, but whatever. It's his major league debut.
Yeah, I mean, come on. 1 walk, 2 walk is guaranteed.
Right. And, I was watching some show the day after he pitched. I'm not sure what show it was. But they broke down his pitches. Probably the reason why I was so pumped to watch him and why he was so exciting to watch. He has 5 pitches. And he can throw them all for strikes. So he's got the 4-seam fastball. He's got the 2-seam fastball. He's got a slider. He's got a changeup, and he's got a curveball. So he's throwing these 5 pitches for strikes, and he went out there and pitched effectively. I'm hoping that this is a guy who can be what the Red Sox have not had since Jon Lester, which is a farm system kid who comes up and can pitch in the big leagues.
And it's good because it's finally there's someone, but just think about the team they were playing, the Marlins, right?
Yep.
Okay, this week they're playing the Marlins, who are in, as far as organizations go, the dog shit organization of sports almost. And I have no real I didn't even really look this up, but it seemed like every single time, at least once a game, maybe twice a game, the Marlins had some guy pitching who was throwing really hard, who all the announcers were talking about, listen, maybe he needs to throw more strikes, need to develop. They had 3 or 4 young dudes who look like they're going to be major league guys. And that's the goddamn Marlins are able to figure this out.
Right.
How can the Red Sox not figure this out?
It seems like every team is able to figure this out except for the Red Sox.
It makes me think they're just lucky with Tanner.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't know what they're doing. They just finally got lucky because every other guy they've taken can't pitch in the majors.
And then you hear about Jay Groom and you hear about these young guys that they take. So I think Houck and Jay Groom are probably your best pitching prospects. And then, Jay Groom, I think, has already gone through Tommy John or he's been injured. And but it was just really nice to the Red Sox
draft, and then they go and draft 4 fielders in the last draft.
Well, exactly. But yeah, look, Tanner Houck gave up no runs. The Red Sox won 2-0. And that's the type of game you haven't seen in 2020.
No.
Because the pitching staff is that atrocious. So speaking of that, transition. I need to collect myself because I'm actually really pissed. So yesterday, Red Sox played the Yankees. I watched the first part of Man of Steel with my son.
Yeah.
And we're gonna circle back to Man of Steel. We're actually gonna end the podcast with Man of Steel talk.
I could cut about 55 minutes from that movie.
Yes. I could cut about 6 inches from what's her name's nose, Lois Lane's nose, because
Amy Adams.
Yeah, Amy Adams. She's got a schnoz.
She sucks as Lois Lane.
She's all right. We digress. We'll talk about this at the end.
Okay.
The Lois Lane talk will wait till the end. No, but seriously. So kids go to bed. I turn on the Red Sox game. They're playing very well against the Yankees. I think it was 4-0.
Oh, the Yankees are on fire lately. We're talking about a team that was pretty much pronounced dead like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They won like what, 10 of 12 games or something.
Yeah, they basically won every game in the past week, but they lost a wicked lot. They lost like 16 out of 20.
Yeah, they were almost down to 500. They were like 2 games above 500 or right there at 500. I think there was something stupid like in the last 5. Like they've had, I think, 8 home runs in like a game. I mean, they've been crushing the ball.
Yeah, so I'm watching the game and I'm actually enjoying the game because as you and I have talked about, for us this year, the game's like kind of been on in the background. You know what I mean? Like the Red Sox aren't good enough to say, I'm going to sit my ass down here. I'm going to buy a really, really good IPA, or I'm going to buy a really, really strong drink that I like. And I'm going to invest the next 3.5 hours of my life into this team that features literally no pitchers that we know. Like we're not going to do that.
Not even AAA level pitchers.
Right.
Put it on the mound.
Just dog shit, bottom of the barrel pitchers. So I sit down last night and I'm watching this game and I'm saying to myself, wow, they look really good. You know, and it really, especially since it's against the Yankees, it's kind of like a little bit of a matter of pride. Right? I mean, you don't want to lose to the Yankees.
Still want to beat the Yankees.
I mean, you still want to beat them. It doesn't matter how bad you are. It doesn't matter your record.
No, you want
to beat the Yankees. I mean, it's just like
the Yankees. You want to beat the Canadians. You want to beat the Lakers. Yeah, it's easy.
You want to beat the Jets. I mean, you just that's the thing that gives me the sports boner.
I mean, there was a good 20 years where the only thing maybe the Patriots could do was beat the Jets because they couldn't do anything else. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, I mean, but to your point, right? Yeah, I mean, anytime the Bruins beat the Canadians, little bit of a chub. All right, yep. Patriots beat the Jets, Chub City, USA. I hate the Lakers. I hate them with all my heart and soul.
I hate Laker fans.
I
hate Hollywood. I hate LA. I just everything about it just trash.
Like 2 completely different cities with 2 completely different like vibes. I hate the freaking Lakers and I want them to go down. So it's the same thing with the Yankees, obviously. I can't stand them. And I said, as bad as we are, I would like to play spoiler and make them miserable. And things were going great. So Martin Perez comes in. He pitches, I want to say, I don't have it in front of me, so I apologize, listeners and viewers. But I want to say he went 5 or 6.
Is he the best move they made in the offseason?
Yes, and I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
I'm gonna get to that. Darwinzon Hernandez comes in. Absolute.
I have no idea.
Disaster.
I have no idea what happened. I can tell you what happened. Okay. Did he walk?
He walked a bunch of dudes.
Right, immediately, right? Probably walked the first guy. I wouldn't be surprised if the second guy he tried to throw some kind of slider that hit him in the toe. So he ended up
all over the damn shop. All over the damn shop.
He had a bunch of guys, I bet, 0-2 or like 1-2, and immediately threw 3 or 4 pitches about 4 inches high in the strike zone, and the person just walked down to first base.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like the ball was like, if you're looking at my, for the viewers on YouTube, you look at my hand, then it would be like, it would just like take off. Right?
I didn't see it. I know what happened.
And then Brazier comes in, and he screws something up. Then Matt Barnes comes in. There's 2 outs in the 9th. The Red Sox are ahead 4-3. There's 2 outs in the 9th. Okay? And I'm going to pause there because I'm going to pick that up in a second. I'm going to go back to what you said. Was Martin Perez the best move the Red Sox made? Abso-smurfly. He is, without a doubt, he is their most reliable pitcher. He leads the league in games started. He has the most starts of any pitcher in the American League.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you could argue Hidalgo there in the outfield is
Verdugo?
Yeah.
I love how you call him Hidalgo. I'm like, who the hell is he talking about?
Hidalgo. Yeah,
we're just gonna go with that. That's gonna be our joke.
In my mind, that is his name.
Yes.
They're 1 and 1A, I think, for moves they made.
Andy, for a team with 0 pitching.
It's too bad though, because any other year if Martin Perez is with a normal rotation like they should have had or they have had, you add Martin Perez, you should be really good. You should be good.
Right. Well, Martin Perez should be your number 5 starter. Not your number 1 starter.
He's your 4 or 5. You're in real good shape.
He's got like a sub 4 ERA. And it's not like 3 point, people do this semantics thing where it's like he's got a sub 4 ERA and it's
3.98.
Yeah, 3.98. No.
It's like when they tell you the car is under $20,000 is $19,999.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I get it. Like,
he's
not selling fucking mattresses here.
Exactly. He's got a legit sub 4 ERA. And off the top of my head, I don't know if it's like 3.88 or like 3.66 or something like that. But let's say it's 3.75. Let's meet in the middle. Okay? That's very good. And he's going to be a free agent. So my argument is you got to re-sign this guy for next year. He likes pitching in Boston. Give him a 2-year deal with some options.
Yeah.
Or something. He's making $6.5 million and he's got a sub 4 ERA. I mean, come on. That's like 6.5 for a starting pitcher. That's pennies on the dollar, dude.
He might have earned himself like $10 million times 2,
Sure. $20 million for 2 years.
Crazy, but in these days, that's fair.
Yep, that's totally fair. So, okay, Martin Perez thing over. So,
smooth transition.
The freaking night. No, but I'm advocating for this guy. I like him. So he pitches a great game. The bullpen blows it. The 9th freaking inning, Matt Barnes has 2 goddamn outs on the Yankees, and that face. Oh my God, Gary Sanchez gets up.
Oh no.
Andy. Honestly, dude, I gotta tell you. ISIS is out there. Al Qaeda is out there. The coronavirus is out there.
Gary Sanchez is worse.
I hate Gary Sanchez more than if ISIS dropped terrorists. They parachuted into America with coronavirus and they just started breathing over everyone. I hate Gary Sanchez's face. I want to smash his face open. He hit a home run to Mars, and he tied the game. And my soul, after a season of baseball, which has granted me zero joy, I had a little bit of freaking fun last night, dude. Little bit of fun. I was having a little bit of fun. And he crushed it, and he always does. I hate his fat face. I hate Yankees catchers, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back in history.
They just sucked you right back to misery, man.
It does.
I try to get out. They just keep pulling me back.
It was old school rivalry night. Like, I felt it last night. You know how we said, like, the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry's dead? Last night I felt anger and hatred. And I want to throw my remote control. I was texting with Wessner. And for those of you who don't know, Paul used to be part of the show. He's a Yankees fan.
He's a dirtball.
And I'm texting with him, and he's like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, I want to smash things. So Yankees catchers, Andy, let's break it down.
Yep.
So obviously, it started with Posada. He's a little weasel-looking mofo. He hit that stupid bloop.
He was a little
hit.
Just a Ginzano little just.
He would hit.
I don't think he was a Ginzano, but he looked like just a New York rat. You know what I mean?
He looked like a New York rat, like a rat that lived in the sewer. That's what he looked like.
Like he looked like that. He looked like the skinny in like the movies with like the young Italian kids growing up on the streets of New York. He was that skinny loser one who might have had polio when he was younger or something like that, but like he was the one always wising up, and then the big dude had to really take, just a weasel hiding behind the big guy and stuff like that.
Just a little weasel, like, right?
Yeah.
And he would always get those bloop hits.
Oh, the worst.
And Jeter was like that too. But mad respect to Jeter, backwards 2 or whatever it was, 2 instead of the S. Mad respect.
Ugh. Like when
but no, seriously, I did have respect for Derek Jeter. Jorge Posada, I wanted to
I
kill him.
respect
I wanted to
Derek.
kill him.
I had respect for Derek Jeter's game and all the broads that he was pulling.
Yeah, well, he used to give him.
You can't deny that. You can't. And the gift basket he was giving him after they were leaving Trump Tower the next morning. What you got a signed baseball, you got an iPad, and I think you got a NDA you had to sign. So
Yeah, you did. You had to sign this thing. Like I did.
When you went to his apartment, you had to turn in your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's in the fucking CIA.
Now, all things.
CIA.
All things fair, if I would have known this in college, I would have given gift baskets to all the one girls that, I had relations with.
Yeah. Your
that's
basket would have been
that's self-deprecating humor.
Your basket would have been like 4 Tic Tacs and a half-drunk bottle of Boone's the next day. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, God, Boone's. Jesus. All right.
I'm just glad there weren't cell phones.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So, anyway, I hate Posada. So, the next Yankee catcher after Posada with any sort of credentials, was Brian McCann. Brian McCann is the face of the guy who gets a boner over the unwritten baseball rules. He's the one that chirps at batters if they don't hustle around the bases.
I know.
Yeah. Like, get around the bases. And he gets in front of guys' faces like, why didn't you run the bases fast enough? He's that guy. He's like all intent. He's got that white, he's got that white Irish face. He's like all kind of fat, like a catcher.
He's the guy he's the guy who wears eye black just to batting practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's the guy that wears eye black. And then
everyone else in spring training's got their t-shirt on, maybe shorts. He's got the full kit already set. Yeah. The stocks are already up like a jerk off.
He sleeps in his catcher's equipment. He sleeps in his catcher's equipment and wakes up the next day. He's like, let's go.
I know. Oh, man.
No, he loves the unwritten rules of baseball. He's like, some rookie or something. It's like the second inning and the starting pitcher has a no-hitter going. And some rookie shortstop will go up to the pitcher and be like, hey, man, you're doing a great. And he's like, hey.
No, he's like.
You don't talk to him. He's got a no-no going. I think, Brian, it's his second inning, dude.
He's like if one of the Gronk brothers was a professional baseball player. You know what I mean? It'd be that kind of.
But exponentially less fun.
Yes. Oh yeah. No. It'd be
intense, but like way. He's like all serious. I can't stand Brian McCann. So then it brings us to San.
Dude, it's a 3.5 hour game. You got to relax a little bit. You're gonna have an aneurysm.
I mean. I'll never forget when he was playing for the Braves and he's barking at that guy for not like running the bases fast enough or pimping something.
Dude. And he's the same guy who would get mad if you ran the bases too fast. You know what I mean? It would have to be the right speed.
Yeah. Oh no, he sits at home at night in bed, has like a laminated sheet of the unwritten rules of baseball, and he grabs the Vaseline and he reads that all night long. That's Brian McCann. Seriously, I hate that guy. I hate Gary Sanchez, Andy. I hate him. I hate his face. I want to smash his face open.
He's the worst.
He destroys us every time. I can't stand it.
All he does is just mad. He is like the epitome of what baseball has become. You know what I mean? I'm going to get up at the plate. I'm going to take 3 mad cuts, and we're going to see what happens.
And it's always against us.
Oh, it's nightmares. He could be 0 for 20, his last 27 going to the Red Sox. He's going to hit 2 home runs that day.
I have shamelessly, in seasons past, followed his slumps. And the aforementioned laminated sheet with Brian McCann, I have followed his slumps and have done the same thing because I love it when he slumps because I hate him that much. I'm literally like, oh, I like look up box scores. I'm like, what did Sanchez do? And if he went 0 for 4 with like 3 strikeouts, I like kind of get a chubby because I hate him that much. I hate Yankees catchers. I hate them. They drive me insane. All right, I'm sorry.
So, game's tied.
Red Sox lose. DJ LeMahieu wins the game.
Free agent to be DJ LeMahieu.
Well, I mean, hey. I've been advocating for him for how many years?
Yeah. No, I mean, he's gonna do all right. And then didn't I read on Twitter or something. The Red Sox were what? They had a guy on third, 1 out or something. JD Martinez. All he had to do was hit a fly ball to get him home. Didn't even have to get a hit. Just had a fly ball, and they couldn't get it done.
I will say this about JD Martinez. Since Major League Baseball implemented the rule where you can't watch video, how's JD Martinez doing?
You know, you might be onto something there. I'm kind of all set with JD Martinez.
I mean, look, I'm not saying he cheated. I mean, like, whatever. Like, you know, it's like, wow, they did this, that. I mean, watching a video, I don't think watching a video of your last at bat means anything.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think he's so weird and, like, set in his ways that
they screwed it up.
It'd be like taking away Schilling's big binder. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he could probably still be fine. It doesn't change how he pitches, but it would mess his head up. And
baseball is a game that if you aren't right up here, if you're not right up here, you're not going to be right physically.
And then there's that video where Manny looks at Schilling with Schilling's binder and goes like that. Just starts laughing at it. He's like, dude,
I just hit, man. I just hit.
I've never read a scouting report in my life.
No, God no. Dude, I think we talked about this on the podcast a long time ago, maybe the first year of the podcast, but I was at the game. It was was it my bachelor party? I was at the game where Manny went into to
take a piss?
To take a piss.
Nice.
I was at that game.
Oh, that's awesome.
I remember being like, I think it was my bachelor party because I think David Wells was pitching for the Red Sox at that time. And I remember being like, no, don't. Like, everyone's ready. Like, you know, the umpire's like, okay, like, go. Manny's still not out in the goddamn field. He's in the monster taking a piss.
That's great.
All right, moving on.
Jon
Lester's a free agent. I saw her on Facebook, one of my Red Sox Facebook groups, the Meetings of the Minds.
Jesus.
Red Sox should right their wrong and sign Jon Lester to a contract. Okay. So, Andy, I want to get your thoughts on a sensible contract for Jon Lester, who he's got to be like 37 years old. At least 37. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but
I got to be honest, it's a hard pass for me.
Yeah.
This team does not need to get older. That is the last thing the Boston Red Sox need to do right now is to get older. Listen, if they were one pitcher away or if they needed that fifth starter, you know what I mean? If it was a real season and it was July and they were in first place or competing for a wild card or something, and this was the guy, I'd take a flyer. But the last thing the Boston Red Sox, unfortunately, even a sensible contract with him is still going to be
way more
stupid.
You're going to be higher than Martin Perez because he's got the pedigree.
Exactly. You're still going to be giving him like $14 million a year. I mean, so now I think we're hitting the age where how many starts are you really going to be able to make in a season? He's got
three World Series rings.
Jesus, yeah.
He's got Cy Young votes. He's been in the league now since for close to 15 years.
Can he throw the first base yet?
He threw his glove to first base.
That's right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
All right, so here's my thing. I want to talk about Jon Lester for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, the person on Facebook said we got to right the wrong that we did. Okay, so you don't sign a guy like 5 years later because you made a mistake.
No.
Like you don't do that.
Jon Lester's just fine.
Right.
Okay. Jon Lester doesn't sit at home thinking about what could have been at the Red Sox.
He went
to the Chicago Cubs and got them a champion. Like, stupid.
Right.
Stop it.
He won a World Series. Well, he wasn't there for 2004. But he's won a World Series with the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago Cubs. I don't think really there's anything in sports that is more important than winning a World Series with the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, so trotting out a broken down Jon Lester is going to right the wrong on a team that's probably still not going to be that good anyway. So, I mean, like, come on.
Right, well, here's my thing. Okay, because I looked at the Jon Lester thing. So the Red Sox traded Jon Lester to the A's.
That's right.
And then he this was in I think it was 2016. Traded Jon Lester to the no, I'm sorry, 2015. Traded Jon Lester to the A's, signed with the Cubs the next year. So he signed a 6-year, $155 million contract. So that is up this year. The Red Sox essentially replaced Jon Lester, who had given them two World Series rings. Okay,
Yeah.
in his years since leaving the Red Sox, Jon Lester is 46-24 with a 3. I'm sorry, that's not true. Jon Lester is 65-31 with a 3.68 ERA. Red Sox signed David Price essentially to replace Jon Lester. 46-24, 3.84, and David Price got 7 years, $217 million. Jon Lester 6 years, $155 million. And he's your homegrown guy.
No, that was that. I mean, listen.
I mean,
There's no right to wrong, but it was a travesty how it went down.
It's not
John
giving
this huge speech about how they're not going to fall into the trap. All the other teams are stupid. We're not going to give that money to the exact person they gave the money to, who was a weirdo. The only difference between the two of them is one of them is a complete fucking weirdo.
Their whole platform was, we are not going to give money to free agent pitchers over 30. Jon Lester was like 30.
Yeah, just 30.
Just 30. And then they gave it to David Price, who was like 31.
Gotta stop whacking the table.
Is it messing up the thing?
A little bit. You get a little sound. It's fine.
I'm all fired up tonight.
You're getting fired up today. I love it.
Dude, last night's game was like old school for me. It messed with my head. I was so pissed off.
It's good. We need that. I'm not even pissed off anymore. That's the problem.
Right. There's nothing worse than apathy. And last night got me back into it.
I mean, day after, at least something happened to that game. Everything else has been Red Sox get a lead. They're up like 2-0 or 3-0. And then in the 7th inning, all of a sudden, they're down 7-3. It just happens immediately. So, I mean, at least it's something. At least there's an emotion,
When shit falls apart for this team, it falls apart fast.
Seriously.
It's always
Smack me in the face.
Smack
me in the face so I know I can feel still,
Right. Exactly. All right. So anyway, I want to talk about the Worcester Red Sox's new stadium. There was an article that came out. And
the WooSox?
Dude. And they're like, it is going to be so Worcester. It's
going to be broken down with people, shooting up in front of it? What are we talking about?
They're like,
no Worcester. No one goes.
There's 9,508 seats, and that is a shout out to the 508 area code that Worcester belongs in. Then they go on and say this is from masslive.com. Then they will also have, so the Worcester Red Sox's logo is like the smiley face guy. Just like the yellow smiley face, the generic yellow smiley face.
Like Watchmen?
Watchmen.
Yeah.
He was invented in Worcester.
That's right. No, he wasn't. I saw a movie about that. He wasn't invented in Worcester.
That's what they say.
Forrest Gump invented him. I saw that movie.
Really? It was on his T-shirt.
Yeah.
So anyway, the smiley face guy was invented in Worcester. So they're going to have this smiley face guy, and then they have this weirdo, heart thing that something about Worcester, and there's a heart, and Larry Lucchino was like, this ballpark is going to be so Worcester. It's going to be all about Worcester.
We're gonna abandon it.
And then I'm saying to myself, like, why don't you let the stadium organically become what it is?
Well, I thought the whole reason they were building the stadium is because the people who like are involved in Worcester don't really like Worcester, and they're trying to make it a better place.
Right.
So why don't we just say this stadium is going to change Worcester? You know, like
right.
No. We don't want Worcester anymore. That's why we're trying to spend money and bring things in.
I mean, it's just like the forcing of like culture or like a feeling down like Fenway Park is Boston just because it's been there since 1912. There's nothing Boston about Fenway Park other than the fact that it's been there since the fucking Titanic sank.
They have lobster rolls now, you know.
Yeah, I know. They also have chowder. They serve chowder there.
I mean,
there's nothing I want.
Nothing Boston.
There is nothing I want more at a baseball game.
Big bowl of steam.
On a July afternoon, after I was probably hungover the night before, and I'm with you, it was sitting there. So we've had 400 beers. There is nothing I want more than a hot, steaming bowl of chowder to get all over my shirt, not get in my mouth. I mean, just a disaster.
What I like to do is I like to buy my lobster roll on the way in, and then I let it sit under my seat.
Yeah.
And around the fifth or sixth inning, which has been sitting down there and just like a greenhouse of heat, just like gushing, then it's ready.
It's like warm mayonnaise and like just a disaster.
I don't feel that great.
Yeah. Oh, really? Because you just ate a steaming hot lobster roll that's been baking in the bleacher sun. Because the bleachers at Fenway Park, the sun there is as hot as Saturn. Like it is so hot out there.
No, you could be accused of child abuse if you left your kid out there too long.
Did I ever tell a story about my father and I going to a Red Sox game the day after he went to a wedding and he got all banged up? Did I ever tell you this story?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to tell you this story.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jenny's like, Saturn's far from the sun. Like, I guess I'm just assuming it's hot on freaking Saturn. Whatever planet's hot. Anyway, so my father goes to this wedding. And he gets all banged up. So the next morning, we goes to a wedding on a Friday. We're going to the Red Sox game, the Red Sox Yankees on a Saturday afternoon, 1:00.
First of all, Friday wedding. Anyways, move on.
So,
4 people.
So my dad is all banged up. So we're driving up there, and it's wicked hot. It's like, it's July or August or whatever. So he always brought this like paper bag with him to the games, and he'd have like his peanuts in it. He'd have the Boston Globe and the Boston Herald. He'd have all his paraphernalia to like go into the game with. So this time he has black trash bags. Okay, and I'm like, Dad, what the hell are you doing? And he's wrapping the black trash bags around his arms. He's like, Mark, I'm so hungover. He's like, I gotta protect myself from the sun. And I'm like, number one, just drink water. Number two, wear long sleeves or like sunscreen. And number three, you're wrapping your arms in trash bags? Trash bags, Andrew.
Like he's trying to lose weight for a weigh-in.
Yeah, like what are you doing?
He was wrestling in a middleweight title match that night. He had to drop some pounds.
He sat with me for 2 innings. He went downstairs out of the sun. And he sat, and then at this point, he's like, he was in his early 70s.
And there was no benches then or anything.
No, and he's just like sitting. He's like laying on the concrete because it's cold down there. Like anything to like cool him off. I'm like, why did you even come to this game with me? Why did you come to this game with me? All right. Freaking so stupid. All right, the Worcester Red Sox. Don't try too hard. Final thoughts on that. Don't try too hard, Worcester Red Sox, because me personally, I'm heartbroken that the Paw Sox aren't going to get one more season. And by the way, if for any reason there is some semblance of baseball where fans are allowed to go in 2021. They owe Pawtucket one more game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would think they would do something like that.
They owe Pawtucket one more game.
I mean, the classy thing to do would be do the season opener in Pawtucket and then do the second. I mean, really, think about it. You can double dip right there. You can do a second season opener in the WooSox thing, you know?
Of course. I mean, and I think that's important. I really do. Like, I know the tone of this podcast has been super jokey and everything, but, you know, we've talked about Pawtucket before, how much it meant to us when we were kids. They owe Pawtucket one more game.
The bottom line is, though, I don't quite understand. Like, it's still a AAA team. So, like, you're talking about all these amenities. You're talking about this stadium. And, like, how much are you going to charge for tickets?
Right.
Because I got to tell you right now, dude, I'm not paying $30 to go see a AAA baseball game.
Well, plus the drive.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So what? Like, are you still going to be able to have, like, with all of this new stadium and everything that you're shelling into this, are we thinking there's going to be, like, $14 tickets?
Dude,
is that a thing?
Like,
listen, I'm AAA. I'd rather like a $5 ticket. I'm just trying to be a grown up and agreeing to like a $14 ticket.
Right, exactly. No, I mean, come on. It takes me less time to get to Boston than it does Worcester.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they might be. At the end, you're still putting out a AAA product. At the end of the day,
mm-hmm.
How many people are you really gonna get?
I don't know.
Especially for a sport that nobody gives a shit about.
And a sport where the commissioner, like a genius, because literally everything he does is the opposite of what I would do. Like, does he brush his teeth with the other, like he holds it by the bristle end and like brushes it with like, because everything he does is the opposite of what I would do. So I mean, he eliminated. He's like, yeah, we got to get rid of all these minor league baseball teams. We've talked about this on the podcast before. So you're taking baseball away from small towns in, like, you know, Des Moines, Iowa, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now there's no baseball in Albuquerque now. So now there's no one cares
that could actually draw crowds because they're the only game in town.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Baseball talk is over. So couple of comic book questions for you.
All right, what do you got? Interesting.
All right, so I texted you yesterday because my son and I were watching Man of Steel, and we also watched Justice League the night before. He's all into the DC movies now, and the DC movies have their moments, but overall, of course, they have not been as successful as the Marvel movies because it just has not been as comprehensive. It's been fractured. The storytelling and the actors haven't been consistent. Blah 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 blah. But
I'm hoping for another Superman movie with 40 minutes on Krypton. That's what I'm really hoping for. Did you know he's from another planet?
His parents sent him there, evidently.
Well, that's the thing. Every time Jor-El makes the same decision. So, like, dude, we get it.
I know. But here's the thing.
Fucking, you got in the 70s, you got Marlon Brando mumbling for a 50-minute soliloquy.
Oh, such a crystals. There's so many crystals.
You come into my house and you say the planet won't blow. Confusing the Godfather, and it's a whole thing.
But here's my thing. So I'm watching Justice League, and there's a couple of shots of them all, right?
Yep.
And I mean, Affleck, Cavill, Gal Gadot, specifically the big three, the trio, they look so good together as these characters. I mean, just aesthetically, they are. I mean, because Affleck at that point was like, he was super jacked, and he looked great in the outfit. Cavill looks great as Superman. I'm going to get to that in a second. And Gal Gadot, I mean, she looked good in anything. I mean, she's freaking absolutely gorgeous.
She might be a robot, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she is a goddess. Like, people like, she's not playing goddess. She is a goddess.
But they do. They have these great scenes where it looks really cool, and then they do the same thing they do in every single DC movie. The bad guy stands in the middle and shoots laser beams, and they all shoot laser beams back. And everyone goes, "Argh!" And then so there's a big explosion.
And then everyone attacks. And then everyone fights and twirls around, and then everyone goes there, and then they attack again. But Jason Momoa is Aquaman, like, reinvented, like, brilliant. and they all look super awesome. And I wish that they could have done something where that would have worked, because I think they forced it because they were trying to compete with the Marvel movie universe that had already started way before them, and they were trying to jump into that, and they blew it. They freaking blew it.
All these people with the Snyder cut, I think, are going to be severely disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have this vision of like it's going to be this amazing, totally different thing, and I don't think it's going to be that much different.
It's just going to look different.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's going to be kind of the same gobbledygook of shit.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so I texted you that yesterday, and then today, I guess Henry Cavill is he's signed on 3 more movies, 3 more.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he was out. Oh wow.
No, this literally dropped like yesterday.
Interesting.
So he's in for 3 more. What thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't think he was the reason those movies weren't great. You know, I thought the Superman. I mean, going to the first Superman movie, I thought it could have been really good. Like I said, I thought it was too long. It really showed technology-wise when the way they used the super speed, the way they really hit it there. They never quite had that before. Remember, there was the Return of Superman or the Man of Steel, whatever.
Yeah.
That was a pile of shit.
No, that was
where Superman had some illegitimate kid because he, his super seed and Lois there, but because Superman just wouldn't take care of his kid. But and then I like Henry Cavill. They got to figure out what the story is. They got to figure out where they're going with it. Yeah. I think what's his face's Lex Luthor was complete. I thought didn't work. I thought that was dumb. Okay, Social Network there. I just. No Jesse Eisenberg. No need for that. You know what I mean?
So you get a big, strong, tall, dickhead, bald guy who's jacked, and he's Lex Luthor, and he's in charge of shit. That's what you do, not this wimpy like nerd. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Superman's difficult. I think Zack Snyder's tone was like, Zack Snyder's. I'm not a huge fan anymore. I got fooled too. When I saw 300 in the movie theater, I thought it was this amazing thing. Okay, yep. I just happened to catch it again on TV. It is 2 hours of homoerotic behavior. I mean, it's just like men lathered up, rolling around with each other, and it's really not that good.
Yeah.
I get what they were doing. What?
You're talking about 300? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I get what they were trying to do, making it look like the comic book, but I mean, we're talking about an 80s Frank Miller comic book that now is a little dated. Yep. Even that, but so it is hard with Superman because you do need to brighten it up. You need kind of that hope, but you also you can't have some wimpy puss movie, So Marvel does it well where they kind of, and for a little while I thought they were getting a little too much, to be honest. I think like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they were almost too snarky for their own good, you know what I mean? They kind of reeled it back in, which I was worried for like Infinity War and Endgame. They reeled it back in. So, but DC just hasn't figured out how to have kind of
the both.
Yeah, and whenever they try to do like snarky funny in DC, it just seems like, some executive said you had to have a joke every so much. You know what I mean? Like it gets that feeling. It's phony.
Well, that's when Zack Snyder had that family tragedy and they bring in Joss Whedon. And then you could tell what parts of the dialogue in Justice League were Whedon, what part was Snyder's. And I mean, we have to make it, more funny. And
I mean, the Flashpoint movie sounds very exciting with, Michael Keaton playing like an older Batman from one universe. And then I think the different Flashes are going to be in it and stuff like that. So that'd be kind of cool. So it's got a chance. They got to break away from the Zack Snyder tone. Like even Suicide Squad, the reason the next one I think will be better because of James Gunn. But the first Suicide Squad, I think one of the reasons it sucks so bad is they were trying to do a Snyder copy. So you had something that really wasn't working trying to be done by people who aren't as talented as the person who was doing it not really working. You know what I mean? Right. Yep. So, and that just became dog shit.
Well, and the other thing too, we're starting to go on nerd universe here, but I will say this too. It's like, it seems like, besides Nolan's Batman trilogy, right? It seems like the DC Universe's villains, who are way better, in my opinion, than the Marvel Universe's villains, there's just like, it's just like these generic, like,
They haven't figured out how to use them yet.
yeah, there's like, they're like, oh, well, let's have weirdo like flying insect guys, and then like Steppenwolf, like that's what you go with for Justice League. I mean,
you go with a cartoon. You go with a cartoon Steppenwolf, which is the main thing. I mean, he looks so stupid. They were so over budget. They weren't going to give him any more money to do that, so that looks silly. Black Adam is going to be good, I think, with The Rock. I think it's going to have the Justice Society is going to be in it. I believe Hawkman's in it. I mean, I think that's going to be something really cool.
Well, I hope so. And I miss movies, by the way. That's one of the things I miss most about this nonsense. Anyway.
Yeah, it would be nice to go to a movie. I got to be honest.
Oh, by the way, plug here. Just bought tickets tonight to go see Hotel Transylvania at the Zeiterion Theater in New Bedford. They have a drive-in theater that they sell.
Oh, really?
In New Bedford. So think about it, man. That'd be fun. That'd be fun to do. It's $25 a car.
That's not bad at all. Not bad.
It's all good. All right. Episode number 88 of the Loaded on Lansdowne Red Sox Baseball Podcast is a wrap. Thanks for being with us today. And thank you for dealing with me tapping the table because I was so pissed off.
Everything's shaking. Yeah.
So thank you to Andrew Andrews, our super producer. And we will see you next week.
Peace.